All right, to wrap things up for this module, we need to do a couple things. We need to make sure we upload all of the files to Create UNL, which is our web host. And then we need to validate our HTML, just like what we did in the module 1. But then this time, we also need to validate our CSS. So we have two different things we need to validate. And technically, we have three. We have two HTML files and one CSS file. Okay? So this is a little bit of a repeat, but how to upload things, we need to make sure all of it's uploaded. Create UNL, log in, and go to your dashboard. And when you go to your dashboard, what we've done is we need to upload the files. So under File Manager, and then under public underscore HTML, that's where all of our files are. Okay? We need to upload everything that we've created or changed. Okay? So we're going to select our files. We're going to select our index, and we're going to say yes, we want to overwrite the file because we want it to look different, right? We want to look like we have our updates. We're going to do our work file, and then we are going to do our CSS and put it up there, and we do want to update that as well. Okay, so we got those updated. Okay, now we need to jump into our images folder because we've added stuff there, and we want to upload all the images that we've created. I'm going to kind of just do a couple of these and then pause, and then you can do the rest of them. So that was the quick fast forward, but a couple things to mention is we don't need to upload our image again unless you changed it, so anything you changed. But we have all four of our portfolio thumbnails. We have our background texture pattern that we're using, and then make sure you upload your PDF as well of your resume. Okay, so once we have all those, we should be able to go back home and check out what our website looks like. Okay, now I'm using the one that I showed in the videos, so it'll look a little different, but you'll need to do that. No, and this is a good point here. If it doesn't look like anything has changed, hit refresh, right? This actual button, hit refresh, and it should work. If for some reason that doesn't do it, hit it a couple more times to make sure. There is a hard refresh that is Command Shift R, or it's Control Shift R on a PC. But it's a hard refresh. It's just something called the cache. We don't really need to get into it, but it's just the old version is stuck in your browser, right? And you can hit refresh, and that usually fixes it. Okay, so we got our stuff going. Your work page should have your images, right, like we talked about. But we have our home pages, and it's working out all right. Our download resume, make sure you check your link. Double check it because it needs to be there and functional to get all the points. But and then check your links here as well. Make sure they go to the pages you want them to go to, and should be cool. All right. So once everything's working and tested, and the links are working, and everything's working the way you want it to, we need to validate things, right? So we can copy our HTML, and we can paste the URL and just validate the HTML. We should get no errors. So once we have no errors, we can flip over to the work because we need to double check both HTML pages, and we can check that as well. And we got no errors there. Now, if you did get errors, will want to go back and fix those. So a lot of times it's just misspellings, or something's out of place, or you forgot one of the greater than or less than signs, or forgot to close something. So when you do that, there's this little checkbox. Go check source and check it again, and it'll give you a highlighted number here that you can find in your HTML, and at least look at it and try to fix it. Okay, so make sure you do that. The last thing we need to do, so we got to validate both HTMLs that we created, so index.html and work.html. Then we do need to check the CSS validation. So same kind of thing, we can just type in the URL to the HTML file, and since both of our HTML files are using the same CSS document, style.css, we only have to check this once. So we can check this. You can see that it's going to pull in the CSS that we have no errors, and you can kind of see all the CSS that's just checking. So this is all the CSS we wrote. Everything's good. So we should be good. So when you're all done with that, then on your website, just grab the URL and make sure you copy and paste that and turn that in for your Web Module 2 project, and you should be good.